This is Pastor Cindy Jacobs and welcome to Changing Perspectives. Today is Purpose Thursday or Perspectives on Purpose, and as I called it or calls it, Perspectives. Today I want to talk to you about something called Am I Too Old for Purpose? Am I too old to reach my destination? Am I too old to become who I am supposed to become? This is something that I believe is a myth. And I want to share a quote with you from Kofi Annan, and it says something along this lines. It says that you are never too young to lead, and you are never too old to learn. I believe that society has tried to put us in a box. There are certain things that are put aside for the young, and then there are certain things that are so-called put aside for the old. And unfortunately, as human beings, we tend to fall into the trap that society sort of paths for us, and we become ingrained in what we think is right. Well, I don't believe that you are too old to reach your destination. I don't believe that you are too old to reach your purpose. A couple of years ago, I did a talk with a few senior citizens, and as I finished my talk, I had some time with them and I could sit with them and just hear where they were all at. And the thing that really gripped my heart was that there was a common thread coming through in every conversation. These people were ready to exit. Exit what? They were ready to exit the earth. They thought that they lived their lives. They did what they were supposed to do, and time is up for them. Now, this is something that is probably common in every family. You know that when you are speaking to the older folk, they speak as if there's nothing left in them. Well, this became quite real to me when I had a visit with my grandmother a couple of years ago. I remember visiting her, and this was our conversation. She's always very happy when you visit her, excited. And we started talking, and she said to me, "You know, Cindy, I really believe that my time is up. I'm just ready and I'm waiting, and God needs to come and fetch me." And I remember the emotion that I felt on the inside. I was angry. I was like, how can you say that? How can you say that your time is up? How can you feel that you've got no purpose? Don't you see it? Don't you understand what you give into our lives? And I can really say that it's not just me, but my brothers, my cousins, my entire family would attest to the fact that when we would spend time with her, we would leave so much richer, because that is the person that she was. I started thinking about this thing because it was bothering me, and I thought to myself, why is it that the older you get, the less worth you start placing on yourself, when in fact the older you get, the richer you're supposed to become? And I got to the point of realizing is that what people do is we place, and it comes back to the previous topic that I spoke about, where we place so much significance on titles. We place so much significance on our positions, and that is who we become. So when we start losing, or when we go into retirement, or when we don't do what we used to do, suddenly we feel that we are worthless. When the truth of the matter is, when you've been successful in a job, you actually made that job successful. You see, we have a tendency of only attaching our worth to the success of a title, not thinking that that whole job description actually functioned well because of what's within us. So whether you are in the secular world environment, whether you are retired or you are no longer there and you're following entrepreneurship, you still have purpose. The thing we don't understand, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are the tools. We are the prize. We are the ones that makes things work. And just because you are getting older, and just because you are no longer functioning in a certain area, does not mean that you have lost your value. When I looked at my grandmother, she thought her youth gave her certain things. Now, of course, when you get older, things change. Maybe you can't run the way you used to. Maybe you can't do the things you used to. But there's something on the inside of you that makes you you. And the thing that really bothers me, and still bothers me, about our senior citizens and the older people out there, whether you are in retirement, whatever you may be doing, if you are not in purpose, what bothers me is that you have decided that you don't have worth anymore. You have decided, based on society, that you don't have worth anymore. You are worth it. There are things that you need to pass on. Let me speak to the senior citizens. There are things that you need to pass on to the next generations. There are secrets on the inside of you that we will never know unless you become the teacher to the younger generation. That is your purpose. That is your injection into this generation. And that is why, if you are sitting out there and you think, but what is my purpose? I'm no longer looking after my children. I'm no longer working. I'm of this age. You have a purpose. There's something so beautiful about our senior citizens. There's something so beautiful about people who have life experience that other people need. There's a confidence on the inside of you that needs to be imparted into the next generation. But if you don't see it, nobody will see it. One of the other things that really gripped my heart was I looked at our senior citizens and I thought to myself, why is it that the youth does not see the impact of this generation? Why is it that the youth does not understand the wisdom of this generation? And it comes back to the fact that you need to regain your identity. You need to regain your identity as an individual. There's something inside of you, ma'am, sir, that you need to impart into the next generation so that we can keep on functioning the way that we do. There are things that we don't need to reinvent. There are situations that can be solved like this. But if you choose to think of yourself as someone that is too old and cannot focus on purpose or giving back into people, then we will miss out on those pearls of wisdom that we need to get in our lives. It is not just something that the older generation struggles with. It is also something that happens gradually the older people get. But I'm here to tell you today, do not devalue yourself. Do not dilute the thing that is on the inside of you. You have been purposed for change. You have been purposed to change people's lives around you. There are certain things on the inside of you that the world needs. Whether you're a grandfather, a grandmother, however old you may be, maybe you've been retrenched, maybe you have lost your identity, maybe you're in retirement, you still have purpose. The value starts with you. I want to leave you with a story. If you think of someone like Donald Trump, and I'm using him specifically because I know people have mixed emotions about him, but just think about Donald Trump. Think about his tenacity. Think about who he is. Think about his strong voice. If Donald Trump loses his riches tomorrow, do you think that that will take away from who he is? It's not the riches that makes Donald Trump. Donald Trump makes the riches because he will be able to build himself back into where he is. The point that I'm trying to make is that sometimes we use our surroundings and we make it give us identity. whereas we are giving our surroundings identity. Don't get lost in the place where you are right now, because if you don't have it tomorrow, you may just think that you have lost your worth, when your worth comes from within. As I leave you with that, I ask you to ponder on those words and understand that you are greater than you think you are. You are stronger than you think you are. You are not too old. You are purposed for great things. You are purposed for change. There's a baton that you need to give over, and that baton will change this generation. It will maintain the standard of this generation, and it will make us a better people. God bless. I hope that the session challenged you. I hope that it encouraged you, and I pray that you would find yourself back to purpose, because you are greater than you give yourself recognition of. God bless. Have a wonderful day. I will see you soon.